See if I can still work this camera. What's going on, guys? Hope everybody's doing well. It has been quite some time since I made a video. I'm sure you're surprised to see my video pop up on your feed. I just want to take a minute and thank all of you guys for the ongoing support. I've had so many guys emailing me, messaging me, asking if I'm okay, if I need anything, and I really do appreciate that. Now, I haven't made a video for probably 4 or 5 months. There's really no good excuse for that. I have been a little bit busier at work. Some stuff has happened family-wise, but at the end of the day, it's really all just excuses, and I do apologize. So in today's video, we're going to be checking out this brand new Smith Wesson 380 Easy that I recently picked up for my wife for Christmas. I actually picked this one up for my wife, and then we got my mother-in-law one as well. They both have a few guns. They've both been shooting. They're not particularly the biggest fans of shooting, but I really wanted to get her into something that was more geared toward novice shooters, something that she could be a little bit more comfortable with, and I'm hoping this 380 Easy is just that. Now, I have played around with this gun at home, you know, just manipulating the slide, the controls, and everything about this gun is ridiculously easy, just as the gun is named, but my wife has not been out to shoot this, and I have not shot this. This gun still is unfired. And one thing I did, more or less because I was bored at home one day, I went ahead and polished the feed ramp. I was just playing around with a few different types of hollow points and noticed that a few different types of hollow points were starting to snag on that a little bit. So I just went ahead and polished it, Dremel, some Mother's aluminum polish, and it's good to go. Now today I have about 100 rounds of Full Metal Jacket, and I also brought, I think, like 30 or 40 rounds of just some mixed 380 hollow points. I know I'll have some Spear Gold Dot 90 grain, some Remington Golden Saber. I think they're 102 grain, maybe 105. Don't quote me on that. I do have the box over there, so once we get into it, I'll show you guys that. But for right now, I think I'm just going to load this thing up. We're going to fire some rounds and see how the Easy performs. Now that was ridiculously smooth. We fired 8 rounds of 380 downrange at some paper targets, and the recoil impulse is very smooth on this gun. One thing I wasn't too sure about was the dual safeties. My wife wanted the extra safety on there. This gun does have the grip safety, 1911 style, as well as an ambidextrous thumb safety. Not the biggest deal in the world. I prefer guns without safeties, but I wanted my wife to be fully comfortable with this setup. Now, enough talking, let's fire another mag through this gun. And right now we're just running some Full Metal Jackets. I believe these are 95 grain. Eight more rounds flawlessly, and I'm really liking the way that this gun handles. Originally, I was gonna wait till my wife could come out so she could be the first one to shoot it, but it's just been eating me up having a gun at home that I haven't shot, so I decided to come out today and bring the camera along, and I'm glad that I did. Now let's run some Full Metal Jackets and some hollow points through this gun to see how it performs, and then we're gonna head back to the house and talk about the specs and do a little bit of comparing against the M&P 2.0 Compact. While we're loading these magazines, I want to give a big shout out to ETS Group. Today we're going to be using the 380 cam loader. Really cool system. What you're going to do, and typically most ammo trays have rows of 10. The 380 Easy magazine only holds 8. So I'm going to scoop up 8 rounds, and let me set this ammo down. We're going to grab our plunger that comes with your cam loader and put just enough pressure to get those touching, and then you're going to put it like against your chest or something like that, and just push down, and you have your 8 rounds loaded. Now with these 380 Easy magazines, they do have the little tab on there that you'll see on most 22 magazines. Not all, but pretty commonly on 22 mags. So that is nice for like an easy loading thing, but you can't get around the cam loader. I never hit the range without one of these things. 8 rounds loaded up in the Easy. The recoil impulse is seriously, it's like nothing. It's almost like shooting a 22 with just a little bit more kick. Now let's run this other 8 round mag that I have somewhere here. And it's a pain not having like a belt set up for 380 mags. I know it's not the most ideal thing to do, but it would be a little bit easier than shoving them in my pockets. 8 rounds, kind of rapid fire, cycled everything really nicely. Now what we're gonna do next is grab some hollow points. These are 102 grain Remington Golden Sabers. So let's go ahead and see how this gun's gonna perform. 5 rounds flawlessly. Let's go ahead and run these Spear Gold Dots, and these are 90 grain hollow points. Spear Gold Dot always makes top quality ammo. And those felt a little more spicy than the others. They had a little bit more kick to them. The gun is getting a little worked in. I'm pretty impressed that we haven't had any issues thus far. Polishing that feed ramp was the only thing I did. I did not lubricate it out of the box, nothing like that. And that was more or less, like I said, I was bored at home, kind of tinkering with it, and I just needed to do something to a gun, and that is what happened with that. Now let's wrap this up, head back to the house, and talk a little bit more about the specs on the Smith Wesson 380 Easy. Back at the house with the 380 Easy, and honestly, I am very, very impressed with this little pistol. Most 380s that I own or have ever shot are very, very small guns, such as the Ruger LCP. I also have a Ruger LCP2, and these guns are not very easy guns to shoot, honestly. Now, when you think of finding a firearm, maybe a first firearm or a firearm for a lady, you tend to think snub-nose revolvers, mouse guns, when in reality, they are not the easiest guns to shoot. So the Smith Wesson 380 Easy really has impressed me thus far. Now I am excited to get my wife out there to the range, see what she thinks about it. The recoil impulse on this gun is very similar to a 22 LR, and not quite as easy, honestly, but very similar. I think this gun being in a little bit bigger of a package, giving you that much more grip and control over the gun, really helps out a lot. Now let's start checking out some of the features on the 380 Easy. Now the biggest selling point of this gun is obviously that it is easy to operate. And it really is. I could use one pinky on the slide and rack it no problem whatsoever. Now guns like the LCP, I took this over to my mother-in-law's. We picked her one of these 380 Easies up for Christmas. Before we did that, I took her over a few different guns just to see what maybe she would like, what she could even operate, and she couldn't even pull the slide back on this LCP. It is pretty hard to pull back even for me. It's not the easiest little gun to operate, period. So as far as the controls being easy, I don't think any other 380 out there is going to even compete with this gun. Now, moving on from there, little things such as the mag release. Very easy to use, very easy to operate, and as I mentioned at the range earlier, these magazines do have these tabs on them where you can pull them down to load your rounds, which makes it much easier for someone that maybe doesn't have the strength they once had, or even a novice shooter that's just getting into the game. With this particular model 380 Easy, I went ahead and got the ambi safety, which it also has a grip safety. As I mentioned earlier at the range, I'm not the biggest fan of that, but if that safety makes my wife a little bit more comfortable, I'm all good with that. Right now, I really just wanted to get something in her hands to get her out to the range so she could enjoy shooting a little bit more and learn a little bit more about guns. Another really cool thing that I love about this 380 Easy is the fact that it came with a pick rail. Now right now I have a Streamlight TLR7 on there, fits perfectly on the gun. She likes lasers as well, so maybe upgrade to a TLR8 sometime down the road, but for right now I think this is an awesome package for any novice shooter. Now this 380 Easy is internal hammer fired, which is a little bit different than a lot of guns you're going to see out there. Especially in this platform, you would be very used to like a striker fired system. This is an internal hammer fired system, so that's pretty cool about the 380 Easy. This gun is also 6.7 inches long and 1.15 inches wide, which is really amazing. I don't know if you guys can see just how thin this is, but it is a very thin platform. I really like how this feels in the hand. Smith & Wesson made this grip a perfect size in my opinion. I have like medium hands and I fit this gun perfectly. My wife's hands are a little bit smaller and she still fits this gun very well. Honestly, it is just an all-around comfortable gun to shoot. This gun does come from the factory with some 3-dot sights. They're not night sights, just white sights. They are steel sights though, so that is a plus. And the trigger is right around 5 pounds on my trigger gauge. A few times it pulled a little bit under, and a few times it pulled a little bit over, but it is right in that 5-pound ballpark that Smith & Wesson says it will be from the factory. When I first got the idea of picking one of these up for my wife, I started price searching around, and the MSRP on these is right about $3.99. I was able to find a really badass package over at Palmetto State Armory that came with the 380 Easy, 2 mags, and it also came with this little M&P range bag, which is actually pretty nice. They have some magazine pockets, a bigger pocket in the middle for the gun, and 2 bigger pockets on the back for like ammo or something. And then it did come with some M&P Ear Pro as well as M&P Eye Pro, which I'm not sure where I put those things. but I thought it was pretty cool to get that package. I think it was like right around 350 bucks, maybe even a little bit cheaper, where a lot of other places were trying to sell the gun for like the exact same price or more without the other stuff. So if you are in the market for a 380 Easy, I would highly recommend searching around to try to find the package deal that comes with the range bag, the eye pro, and the ear pro. Just why not get all that stuff if you're gonna pay the same amount of money? Now this gun is part of the M&P lineup. This is an M2.0, which is very, very similar to the Smith Wesson M&P 2.0 Compact. Now if you put these guns side by side, they really do look like twins. You know, big brother, little brother, pretty cool little setup, especially for like a his and hers setup. I have not had them both out at the range at the same time to kind of compare how they feel, but honestly, the M&Ps do feel very good at the hand. They perform well at the range. M&Ps are just a good all-around gun. I would honestly say by now, they have pretty well proven themselves, and I trust my M&P just as much as I trust my Glocks. But I think that's going to wrap up today's video. If you guys have any further questions on the M&P 380 Easy, definitely leave it down there in the comment section below. And guys, I am happy to be back. I know it's been a long time. Today I was like, I'm gonna film a video, I'm gonna sit down and edit it and get this uploaded. So I am very happy to be back in front of the camera, and guys, it won't be much longer before I have another video coming out, so stay tuned. I'll catch you guys in the next one.